right? I just realized that. Is there an actual D&D game that I have to download or something? No? Okay. I remember seeing one of the streams on there. They play a game. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's not really a game. It's a map. Do I need that? Oh, okay. A character sheet. You know what? I'm gonna check the old messages because I actually didn't look at them. But like, he sent stuff to the other guys, and maybe I was supposed to read that, but I didn't. Shoot. There's like, I don't know what the context is, guys, but there's a bunch of pictures of Sock. Maybe you guys saw their streams and you know what they're talking about, but there's a bunch of pictures of Sock in the Discord. And like, Lily has a picture of like a, I don't even know what that is. She just drew a picture in there. I don't know. Are they like their characters? Oh, Leslie's getting a pet in the game. Okay, but they're the only two people that sent stuff. Alright, he's ready. Do a call?
Hail, traveler.
Hailing?
I'm traveling. I'm hailing. I'm sprinting. What's going on?
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. All right. I got everything here for you. Let me bring up one last document, and then we'll be ready to get started. Okay, and I need to get TV preparation. All right, there we go. Alrighty then. So, first up, let's get straight into it.
Okay.
In order for you to play D&D, we got to make a character first. And there's lots of stuff that we get to go over together. And I'll make sure that it's going to seem intimidating, but it's really not, because we're going to do it piecemeal, one bit at a time. So the first things first is I need to explain to you the continent that you'll be playing on, which is right here. And I will give you this link right here. Boom, boom, bam. So that is the continent that you'll be playing on. It is the continent called Glaeus. Specifically, your campaign, if you zoom in on it, should take place relatively... Well, okay, I should say it depends on what campaign you guys actually select, because they have not selected a campaign yet in respect to yourself.
When you say campaign, you mean like a location on this map?
Something like that. So here, let me explain in a little more detail. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make you a character, right? Mm-hmm. And that character will be a part of their party, which is a collection of characters. And then you, as a group, when we have another session 0, as we will have plenty of time before we actually start playing, we'll decide what campaign you will play in. Now, we're making a character, but the campaign is the story you will play. It's kind of like, if you're playing a game, it's like, which DLC do you play through, kind of thing, if you want to look at it that way.
Got it.
Yeah, so
it's
that's
like the mission. Yeah,
it's like what is your main storyline you're going to play, and that's kind of the whole setup for it. And I've got several of them made and for selection, but that's a decision that you guys make as a group. Okay. So they haven't chosen that yet until you get caught up, and then we have a session where everybody can be there. So right now, it does depend on this region, which campaign you choose. But generally speaking, if you're looking at the map and you zoom in on where it says Titan's Eye, which is the big lake in the middle of those mountains, your campaign will either take place around that or to the east of that, like slightly to the east of it, which is to the right. So,
okay.
In that area there. Specifically, if you go to where it says Bowlock next to that lake, that is the City of Bells. That has the highest chance of where your actual campaign will start, depending on the options available. So that's probably where we'll go over there. Sorry, there's people mowing their lawns outside. I hope you don't hear that.
You're good. Barely hear it.
So there's that. Now we're going to talk about characters. So there's two major options that you should really think about first. Do you wish to be a Glean native, which is my eastern continent, you know, loosely based off the eastern cultures, or do you want to be from the west, which my western continent is loosely based off of a smattering of all kinds of different cultures, like, you know, Indo-European, like some Middle East thrown in there, a little bit of Native America, all that kind of stuff. Depending on which two choices you make, will give you a list of options. For example, if you are from Glaeus, which is the eastern continent, the one you're looking at right now, you'll have access to the eastern methodologies of like spell casting, and you'll have access to a lot of that folklore and mythology kind of thematics for your character, like a ninja or like a full-blown samurai, stuff like that. If you're from the West, then you'll have access to the more westernized versions of folklore and mythology. So that's where you're going to have your classical clerics. That's where you're going to have your Britannian knight, you know, stuff like that.
Got it. Okay. You want me to pick now?
Oh, I'm just telling you those are the two options that you have.
Okay.
You don't have to pick now, but there are more options that we can go over. But that's something to consider if you'd like. I also have a map of that continent as well, if you'd like. Let me show you what Calcatesh looks like. 1 second. Bring that up. And there we go. And this, hopefully this link won't be weird. That is the continent of the West.
Got it.
So yeah, that's the East and the West, and depending on where you're from there, that can be good. But now we're going to take a step back. The easiest way for you to make your first character in D&D is we just talk about things that you like from anime or other pop culture. If there's a character that you want to make that can do a certain thing, then we can recreate that in D&D. That's the easiest thing to do for brand new players. So what is something that you really like fantasy-wise? Anime, okay.
Yep.
What kind of anime character would you want to make?
I grew up. Well, I don't really know what kind of character. I grew up with Naruto and like DBZ and all like the basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what kind of character. I just don't. See, it's probably better if I made it with the others, right? Because then I would.
That was the intention. Yeah, but it's okay. I have the list of what characters they ended up making.
Okay.
So here is their list, right here. So I'll just give you an explanation. So Broden is playing a Yozai rogue. So he's kind of playing like a pirate with spiritual arms, which I'll explain those later. But essentially, he's playing a half yokai pirate. That's what Broden is playing.
Okay.
Toast is playing a void wizard, human blessed with like this dark psionic power. Fusely is playing a tiefling bard, who's from the Merchant clan. And Lily is playing a Hoask cleric, which is like think Tauren from World of Warcraft, but not quite as bestial, like way more human.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's kind of what she's playing, and she's a dark cleric, but she looks really friendly.
She's like a minotaur.
Yeah, basically, she's like pink hair and look like ice cream cones, waffle cones on her horns, and she looks really bright and cheery. But her powers come from dark forces, kind of thing. And that's kind of their class is set up. So we've got a rogue, which is like a scout, martial character. We've got a wizard, which is an arcane caster. We've got a bard, which is kind of like a support class that's like all in the middle of everything. And then we have a cleric who has access to healing and the divine. So right now, all the major roles are more or less covered. The biggest roles they're missing is a true frontliner, which is like a true warrior that can take the front line. But other than that, I mean, you can be anything you'd like, though.
So they need a tank.
They are missing a tank, yes.
Wouldn't that be Lily, though? Or is that...
Lily can be a tank, yeah. Clerics can wear heavy armor. See, the thing about D&D is, like, there are traditional roles, but those traditional roles can bleed into each other pretty easily. So, even though she is a healer, she has still got high defense, so that means she can still be a tank.
So I was kind of looking up some of the stuff on your site or
Yeah.
on one of the sites, and um, I don't know if this sounds like it's a little bit different. Like there's different races from what I remember.
Hmm.
But is it possible to be a sword that hops and has eyes like Disney?
Oh, you want to be a an
You know,
animated object?
think like the paperclip that helps you do things on Microsoft, but it's a sword. But really, I'm a dragonborn who's pretending to be friends with my group, but I want to break out of the sword so that I turn on them because I'm a dragonborn. That's what I looked up the other day.
Okay. Well, Dragonborn is totally fine. I mean, that is an available race. If you want to play as an animated object, that's something that we could go with. I will tell you that until you break out of the sword, you're going to have some like limited ability to manipulate the world around you.
Oh,
Yeah, because you'll be a sword.
but what? Like one of those hopping swords. You know what I
Right,
mean?
even if you
Or is that
hopped. I mean, you can do that, but that's still limit. That means you can't climb, you can't pick up objects because you don't have hands. You see where I'm going with this? Like, there's a lot of limited interaction with the world that you'll have. It's totally fine if you want to be like a dancing blade and stuff like that and like float around, but there's still limitations to what you'll be able to do.
Uh huh. Okay, let's not. I'll play a tank. What's some good tank races?
Oh, races? Oh, there's any race can play any class, so there's no limitations there. You should pick the race that you want to play as. And there's Western races and there's Eastern races. To help streamline this process for you, I have some links for you. So let's start with this one here. If you want to be from the West, use this quick character creation guide. And if you want to be from the East, use this quick character creation guide. When you click on these, the sheets at the bottom are where all the separators are. So if you want to look at races right now, go to the bottom of that sheet and then click where it says races. At the very bottom of the program.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, so those are all the... I know it looks like a big list, but I can give you a quick rundown of them real quick. So humans are human. That's easy. That's you. You're a human. Elves are the traditional outlook of elves. They're long-lived, and there are different flavors of elf that you can play. They're long-lived, pointed-eared peoples. Think Lord of the Rings. Gnomes are like halflings, but crazy. Giantkin are creatures with giant's blood in them, like furbolgs, goliaths, and minotaurs. So that's like the more bestial version of the minotaur, which is not what Lily is, but it's more bestial, and half giants and things like that. Skinwalkers are basically, imagine like werewolves and stuff, and different creatures like that. There are the dwarves, which you know what a dwarf is, right? Classic fantasy dwarf. Halflings are hobbits. Greenskins are the more monstrous races like half orcs. A bugbear is just like a really hairy looking orc. Hobgoblins, things like that. The Dragonborn, which you already looked those up, are half dragons. Plain touched are essentially referred to humans that have like planar blood in them, which means like either one of the main elements or demon blood or angel blood in them, or the blood of the deep folk, which is what Tritons are. They're like mermaid people. We have the lizard folk tribes, which are pretty straightforward. Kobolds and Yuan-ti, which are snake people. The Fae, which means they're from the Feywild, are changelings, satyrs, and sprites. A satyr is a goat person. A sprite is a small pixie. Think of like Tinkerbell. And a changeling is a gray-skinned woman that can turn into anything, like any person.
So they could be any one of these races?
They could be any one of those races. Well, disguise themselves as any one of those races. They don't get the abilities of those races, but they can look like them, which is pretty cool and useful. And then the other races here are Dhampir, which is a half vampire, Kuatoa, which is a frog, which is a piranha frog person, and then Siren, which is essentially you can be like a Medusa, a harpy, or a sea siren, which is a very specific race. But there is all kinds of stuff there for those Western races, and you have some leniency on reflavoring them if you wish. And those are the races of the West.
Got it.
For the Eastern races, if you go to the Galeas character creation guide, and then go down to the bottom and click races there are less options here, But I will point out that unlike the Western ones, this list was made when I had a lot more resources. So I actually have concept art of all these races if you would like to see what they look like. But so the humans of this, and remember, this is based in like my Eastern continent, which is like a smattering of all kinds of different like Eastern cultures from real life. I've got Japanese, Chinese, Korean, I've got Polynesian, Mongolian, like I've got all kinds of stuff kind of mixed in there. So humans have cardinal directional variants, so northern, southern, western, and eastern, and they all have like different abilities they get from short resting. So like the northern humans are based loosely off of Mongolian culture, so they can create a feast for their party when they rest. Southern tribes, I believe, are based off of Thai, and they get like this this chant that they can do. The western tribes are based off of like the Polynesian side, which they can carouse and drink and party. And then the eastern ones they have like a reflection, like meditative thing that they can do to grant them advantages. Next one is the elves, which the elves in Glaeus are different from the ones in the West because they are directly infused with nature. So that means it grows on them. So they could have bark on their skin, or like branches grow from their head like antlers. And there are 3 different types of those: whitewood, greenwood, and reedwood, which is north, center, and south. And then Yozai, which are the half yokai, they have spiritual arms, right? So a Yozai is born with no arms. So imagine a person with no arms, but when they're awake and conscious, their arms are like spiritual manifestations of limbs that take on the form of their yokai parent. So if you wanted to be a sword person, that would be the easiest translation of that, because
sword arms,
you could literally have sword arms that you could use to manipulate things. So you could like pick things up because you had fingers that were blades and like cool stuff like that.
Got it.
And there are those 8 selections there, those are just different type of yokai that are categorized from Japanese mythology. And then next we have Terran, which are bat people. And then we have the Gekoi, which are gecko people. And then we have the Hoas, which is what Lily is, which is like a minotaur person, but way more humanoid. And there you go. Those are the races.
Okay, but it seems like most of them have picked things on this sheet. So should I go to the other sheet?
If you want to. It's completely up to you. I think most of them chose this sheet because I had concept art, but you don't have to be from the Western continent.
Okay, but like, so, okay. Sorry, I'm going to go through what they picked again.
Go ahead.
So Broden has the guy who has his own arms, and we don't know what the arms are, right?
I think Broden is still on the fence about that, but if I recall, no, like what his arms are, I think he went with tentacles.
With the race.
Oh no, it does, but the theme of it is like, because the arms could be anything. Like it's really open interpreted. I think he was choosing tentacles, so he has like tentacly arms, but he might change that. But yes, he has like tentacly watery arms. That's his whole thing.
Got it.
Like, do you ever see the second Avatar show with Korra in it? And then there's the lady with
some of it, yeah,
with the water arms, kind of like that. Yeah, that's kind of like what he looks like.
Okay, well,
lots of choices here. Take your time. I got all the time in the world.
So the changeling seems interesting to me because it seems like you get to be different characters.
You can, yeah. So here's the cool thing about changeling. Let me explain a little bit more about them. Changelings are the children of the machinations of a hag and a mortal man. Because in the West, hags would entice like men and feed on them and mate with them and then create and then like kill them because they're monsters. And then they would give birth to these changeling women, which they would send out into the world to collect the faces of people, like, because they can change their form and then come back and then be called back to them to be killed and have their souls reaped in order to increase the power of that hag. It's a horrifying thing, but that's the way that it is. But here's the thing, though: changelings can resist that call, and part of their whole process is that they want to break free of their hag mother's curse, but their power is that all changelings are female. They have like this gray and white skin, but they're malleable. So as long as you have seen somebody, you can turn into them. The only rule against it is that you cannot turn into something that is not your size, and that doesn't mean like your exact height or anything. That means like it has to be a medium-sized creature. It has to be a medium-sized humanoid. But as long as you have, and you must have seen them, you can't become somebody that you've never seen before. But those are the only two stipulations. So if you see like a random peasant and somebody's looking for your character, you can turn into a random peasant and just be like, yeah, he went that way. Changelings have a lot of options for roleplay. And you could even, Ryan, if you wanted to, make up different characters that you could roleplay as and switch between. So you could be like a brave knight on one hand and then like a timid sorcerer on another one. You can switch these out. And that's actually a part of it. And they're all interconnected because you're a changeling, which is very cool.
But I would have to have like seen these people in the game.
Well, yes, but it can be that you saw them during your backstory. And that's fine.
Got it.
Like you've already seen them. But if you wanted,
like that.
Yeah, but if you wanted to turn into somebody actively in the game, you will have had to seen them first. Like for example, the Pale Emperor who rules the Eclipse. You couldn't turn into him because you've never seen him before. That's what that is. Oh, did I lose you? Hello? Did I lose connection? I don't hear you talking. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh. This isn't good. His stream went down. Oh, there you are. You're back. I can hear you.
Oh. All right. I'm back.
What the heck? That was wild.
What happened? It says I disconnected.
Yeah, it shows that I disconnected too.
Really?
I think Twitch just exploded
on us?
Yeah, because we both went down. Let me check other streams.
Oh, you also went down.
Yeah, we went down at the same time too, so that's pretty indicative. Let me see other streams.
Yeah, I think I see other people on though.
Yeah, let me test this one. Yeah, he seems fine.
I'm surprised yours went down too.
That was weird. Oh, I didn't go down? Oh, okay. I thought I went down. Okay. They were spamming F. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought I went down too.
Mine came back up.
All right, you back? We're good? All right. So yeah.
Yeah.
But those are what changelings are. They can
Okay.
you can have a whole bunch of different characters that you can really play with and experiment with, so.
Got it.
There you go. Let's see here. Is that the one that you want to go with, or do you want to learn more?
I think I'm interested in that. Yeah, I like
Changeling?
that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll type it in as a potential. Changelings are very cool. All right, so we've determined what you are. Now we have to determine what you do. So now we get to choose your class. Let's see here.
Wait, changelings were on the other map, the west, right?
They are from that, but you could have been born in the east. It really depends on whichever one that you want to do. And don't worry about attributes or anything like that. I'll give you a full rundown on what those are. Right now, I'm trying to get you to choose to play a character that you would like to play. The mechanics are something that we'll go over, and it's not going to be a huge impact on what you're doing. Well, in terms of, I would rather you play a character you would enjoy rather than a character that is mechanically strong, because the difference between those two things is very small, and it won't matter anyway. So, because I'm going to balance everything to your character, so don't worry about that. But I will explain what the stats mean.
Got it.
So you want to be a changeling. So now we get to choose classes. So let me give you the link to that sheet. Okay, and here we go. Here is a link to that. Alrighty. So this is the website that I like to use called 5e Tools. It has all the information out of all the books you know, with like a month of a difference for OGL purposes. But essentially, it has all the classes, and it's a really easy to use website. But I'll go ahead and go over all the classes that are available, and then I will explain to you like what each of them do and kind of what their role can be. Alrighty?
Yep.
Okay, so number 1 is Barbarian. Barbarian is a martial warrior that uses rage to infuse their like attacks and effects. So a barbarian will have access to the wild primal forces of the world, but their main thing is they get angrier and angrier as they fight. A common pop culture reference to this would be like Conan the Barbarian and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Next is Bard. So a Bard is a performer at heart and has such powerful performances that they are literally magical. So that means they can summon up casting spells, they can summon up stuff like that. And hold on, your stream is.
Am I in the wrong place?
I think you are. Let me go up to the top here. Go up to the top of that. Very, very top. Why is yours look so different? That is so strange. Click on 5e tools at the top there. That hyperlink. There we go. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why it sent you there. Okay, so you see the classes on that chart on the left there?
Yep.
That's the one I'm going down. So each one, when I get to one, just go ahead and click on it, and then that way you can follow along. So we started with Barbarian. So click on that, and then it should change everything. There you go. There you go. All right. So yeah. So Barbarian is a wild warrior basically that uses rage to assist all of their strengths. And then Bard is a magical performer that can do all kinds of stuff like use the power of singing or the power of shredding on a guitar if they wanted to in order to create magical effects. They are also a jack of all trades, which means that they're a little bit good at everything. They're a very versatile class. Cleric, which is the next one down, are priests and holy characters that serve as conduits for divine powers in order to filter and spread throughout the world around them. So they use prayers and things like that. So basically a priest from World of Warcraft. And there's lots of different options for their divinities, though, because depending on what god you follow depicts what powers you have. And so there's a lot of versatility there as well. Next up is Druid, which if you've played World of Warcraft and played that Druid, that's basically the same thing. So everything World of Warcraft has, got it from D&D. D&D is the original RPG.
Got it.
So any game you've played that has experience points, you've already played, at least to some degree, Dungeons and Dragons. So Druid is basically the same thing as the Druid in actual World of Warcraft. It's the same thing, basically. Next up is Fighter. So Fighter is your generalistic, all-around warrior. Like, this is the person that is trained for combat in any regard. Like, you can use any weapon, shields, any armor, all of that different stuff. Like, you are not a random guard. You are a professional warrior. You are a higher tier of warrior. Where some random bandit might be able to stab somebody, you are trained in the use of all sorts of different fighting styles and all that stuff. You are a serious warrior. Like, you're a professional. But there are two different types of warriors that you can be, like of fighters that you can be. If you're from the West, you get access to all the normal fighter subclasses like Battle Master and stuff like that. But if you're from the East, you get to be a samurai. And the samurai in the East have access to a whole slew of new abilities. I've completely recreated the fighter class for Glaeus. So if you choose to be from the East, you can be a full-on samurai. Next down from that is...
So these are...
Go ahead.
I'm kind of confused. Like, so what these classes are... You can have a class of the same race.
So there are different pieces of your character. We've already chosen what you are, which is a changeling. Now we're choosing what you do, like what your profession is. The class and the race go together. So let's say you chose samurai. You would be a changeling samurai. That's what you would be. You get both of those things. You are both of those things.
Got it. Okay.
So, like, for an additional example, if you were a changeling samurai, you would be able to change your face and still fight like a samurai at the same time. You get to do both of those things, yeah. And so next one down from fighter is monk. So, you've probably seen, like, have you ever played Diablo 3?
Yep.
that kind of monk. That's the kind of monk that you'd be playing. Fist, kicks, all that good stuff with some spiritual energy kind of focused around that as well. So you've got like the ability to, to teleport eventually, and you get access to all kinds of powers using ki. And it's very versatile as well. Next one down from that, skip over Mystic because we don't use that one, is Paladin. So Paladin, you've probably seen that in World of Warcraft. It is a holy warrior. It's kind of the fusion between fighter and cleric, and it's pretty much the same thing in D&D. It's a holy warrior, and you serve an order, a certain ideal as a paladin, and that's essentially what you do. It depends on the ideal that you follow, which depicts your abilities, but that's your focus point. Ranger is have you ever seen Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember Aragorn and all the stuff that he could do?
I don't know it well enough.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you know who Strider is?
Is it not the archer?
Well, that's Legolas, but you know what? Legolas is also a ranger, so that's fine. So yeah, that's fine. So a ranger is a war, like, it's, imagine a fighter but in the woods, like in the wilderness, and their entire purpose is to explore and protect the wilds and stuff like that. Okay. That's what a ranger is. And there's all kinds of stuff that they can do based off of that. And the next down is Rogue. So Rogue is your very classical, like, adventurer, like swashbuckler, you're kind of all arounder. A rogue is essentially the classic adventurer that fights dirty, that can do lots of different things like sneak around, steal stuff. They can fight up close a little bit. They're all about they're kind of getting the job done. That's their whole kind of thing.
So that's Broden, right?
Yeah, that's the class Broden is playing. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. All right, and that's kind of what Rogue is. A classical interpretation would be like the Three Musketeers would be rogues, or like if you ever seen the Chronicles of Riddick. Riddick is a rogue. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
Got it. Next
down from that is Sorcerer. Now, Sorcerer and Wizard are going to sound similar, but there's one big distinct difference, right? So these next three, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard, will sound similar, but there is a very big difference, even though they all use arcane magic. Sorcerer, their magic comes from their blood, like their heritage, right? So they're magical because they have it in their blood. And they summon up this magic through their blood, and they summon up this magic through their force of their personality. So they use charisma.
Okay.
And that's how they summon it. So you could have dragon's blood in you. You could have like dark fiendish blood in you, like a devil's power gives you that strength and stuff like that. And the next one that we have is Warlock. Now, Warlock is granted their power from a dark patron. So their power comes from a deal that they made. So let's say in an act of desperation, you wanted to escape your hag mother's curse as a changeling, and you beseeched a dark patron to release you from it. They might agree, but in exchange, you must serve them, and you get all this power in order to serve them properly. So their power comes from a deal. And then finally, wizards are your very classical, like long beard, pointy hat wizard. That they get their arcane power from knowledge, from reading ancient tomes and studying and studying forbidden texts and stuff like that. And that's where all three of those types of powers come from.
Got it.
And there you go. And that is all the basic classes.
All right. Well, the one that is... So rogue. A rogue is like kind of a dirty fighter.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Okay. Rogues are good, and there's many different types to play.
Okay.
Yep, there's but you don't have to worry about choosing that now. You choose that later. What kind of rogue you end up being. So, I'll put you down as a rogue. Oh man, it's been a long time since I've had a party with 2 rogues in it. That's going to be awesome. Okay, so now that we've got your class choice, now we choose which continent you want to be from, because that will choose your origins, and that will kind of lock you in. Do you want to be from the west, or do you want to be from the east?
The West. I thought changelings are from the West. No.
That is, they are, but you could have been born in the east, because if you look on the Glaeus map, go all the way to the left on the Glaeus map, do you see a place called Alexandria? It should be near where the mouth of the dragon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is the port city. That is where all the Westerners come in, and that is a like melting pot of West and East. So you could have simply just been born there. Even though you're a race that is seen in the West, you were born in the East. So don't worry about that. You can be from either continent. It's completely up to you.
Okay, then I'll go with East.
All right. In that case, you get to choose a new origin. Let me get you that information here. If you go back to the quick character guide, the one that says Glaeus, it should be the one with like the Yozai and all of them on it. That should be the sheet that you see. Okay, and then go down to the bottom there and then click on clans. All right, so if you are from the East, then you choose which clan you're a part of. Now, the clan indicates the kind of pseudo country / family that you are from. That's basically what you were born into. All right, there's lots of options. Don't worry, I'm going to give you a rundown of all of them, and I'll also have concept art to show you. All right, so essentially, if you're born into the East, then whatever family that you're a part of, what family you were born into, gives you certain benefits because you receive their training, you receive their, their specific powers if you have them, or any of that stuff. Alrighty, mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go and walk you through that now. Let me get you the concept art of that. And let's see. I will also give you a link to it. Hold on, I gotta scroll up. I forgot to get this link ready. Let me find it. Let me find it. I'll just go to the artist Discord. They've got that concept. Oh man, I knew I forgot something. Hold on. I can find it. I just gotta go scroll up through. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see. Click that. Ah, here we go. There it is. Hope this is right. Nope, that is not right. Sorry. I misplaced where it is. I'll just ask them to help me. I feel very dumb. Let me just... I knew I forgot to get one of the links ready. And they changed the Discord around, so I can't find it. Let's see here. Ah, there we go. Thank you, artists. Okay, let me give you this ring. Okay, clans. Here you go, Ryan. Boom. All right, and you can kind of bring that up on stream and all that good stuff. Hopefully you have access to it. It should if it gives you the link. It does. Okay, so two things that you that we should stack up is here. I'll do this real quick. Is that we have the mechanics on one side, and then we've got the concept art on the other. So I'm going to go down it one at a time for you. So we're going to start in the northern clans, and we're going to start with the Hull, which is the Fire Clan. So the Fire Clan, their main weapon is the glaive, and they kind of follow a yokai spirit known as the Salamander, and they're a very warrior-centric, focused kind of society They produce weapons and armor. They're kind of like very dwarfy in that regard. They serve the salamander. They get more strength, and they get extra damage from all fire sources, and even more damage if it's from a weapon. So, and there's a bunch of concept art for you, like what their outfits would look like, what their what their culture looks like, what their land looks like, all kinds of good stuff. And you can double click on any of that, and you can zoom in on it, and you can use the arrows to take a closer look. And that's what the Fire Clan people look like. So after you've kind of looked, let me know when you're ready for the next one. Actually, my food's here, so I'm going to go grab that real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, good. I wasn't looking ahead.
It's okay. It's okay if you do. The next one up is the Shu, which is the Water Clan. So the Water Clan, they're kind of like sailors and pseudo merchants. They serve a sea turtle as their yokai, and they are to the furthest northern part of Glaeus. So they're the cold water, ice, glaciers, stuff like that. If you like Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Right.
basically them, the water tribes. And their weapon of choice is the 3-part staff.
Okay.
Let's see, their special abilities are... Let's see, they get increased constitution, which means they get more hit points and like resistance to things that affect the body. They become immune to non-magical cold damage, which means you won't freeze to death, and resistant to magical cold damage. So if an ice dragon breathes on you, you take half damage because you're from the north, and that doesn't bother you.
What if it's fire?
Oh, fire just does normal damage. Just because you're resistant to cold doesn't mean you're vulnerable to fire.
Oh, I see.
All right, the next one we have is the Moto, which is the Wood Clan. So the Wood Clan, they live in the river delta in the forest, and they serve the Fox Spirit, the Fox Yokai. And their main weapon of choice is the longbow. They get more dexterity, which allows them to shoot better with bows and use dexterous weapons. And they get a plus 15 to their base movement speed, which is essentially they move 50% faster than other people. They're very fast.
Got it.
The next one oh, I totally skipped one. My bad. Go back up to Fang. Oh, man.
Wind?
Yeah, the Wind Clan. So, the Wind Clan lives at the very highest points of the mountaintops. They live in kind of like these tree houses of enormous bonsai trees kind of blown against the harsh winds. They are proficient with battle kites. So now I get to explain something else about Glaeus. So, in traditional fantasy, you think that people travel with horses. That's kind of like a common thing. Well, in Glaeus, the winds of Glaeus are so strong and reliable and predictable that the people of Glaeus actually did not develop horseback riding. they developed kites. So for you to travel, you would attach a kite to your back and just literally fly using the skyways. And that's,
So you can fly.
yeah, basically. So and that's kind of like a common thing that everybody can do to a certain extent.
Oh,
But the Fang can use their kites in battle, which means you can fight with it.
I see.
And that's kind of how that works. All right, and then the next one up down the line is Jinshe, which is the Metal Clan. So this is another river delta dwelling clan, which is all about money and mercantile, power and stuff like that. And they're a little bit different than the other clans because they actually value merchants as their highest caste. Because traditionally, in Eastern cultures, merchants are kind of lower on the totem pole because they don't produce anything. But that's what the difference with this clan is. They actually they value them in the opposite direction. Their yokai is a golden owl bear, and this clan gets access to bear cavalry, flying bear cavalry, because the owl bears can fly in Glaeus.
So these guys are rich?
Yes, that's part of their whole thing. And if you're from that clan, then you get increased wealth rewards from adventuring and stuff like that. All right, the next one down is the Yin, which is the Shadow Clan, and they serve a spider yokai, and they train all manners of spies and assassins and saboteurs and stuff like that. They're like a professional ninja clan. And
I like this one.
as a part of the Yin, you get the ability, advantage on stealth checks, which means that you are very good at hiding in darkness.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they're also a little wiser than other classes, than other places. They get wisdom bonuses. All right, and then the next one down is the Yang clan, the opposite of the Yin, the Light clan. Okay, the best way I can describe these guys is that in the Yang clan, beauty is prized above everything else, because they believe that the more beautiful you are, the closer you are to being spiritually powerful. So all of their government leaders are basically decided by a beauty pageant, and this is where all of your pretty boys are, and your unearthly beautiful women are. So there's a bunch of pretty boys on here. Their ability is, excuse me, you can use your charisma bonus when you're making weapon attacks instead of strength or dexterity. So you can literally kill people with how handsome you are, which is pretty sick.
This is sick. Yep.
And those are the Yang. So lots of eye candy. It's all about being uncomfortably handsome.
What a great skill.
Yep. The next one are the Zu, which are actually exiles from the Yang clan, which formed the Blood clan. So the Blood clan are all warriors and predator kind of people. They believe in they stain their skin with the blood of their enemies to grant them like power. That's their belief system. And they believe this because they were exiled from the Yang because they were not beautiful enough, so they made themselves uglier by proving they were stronger anyway.
I see.
And they have the ability to heal themselves whenever they kill enemies in combat.
All right.
They're pretty brutal.
Yep. They have a look in their eyes.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty crazy.
Was that the last one?
That was the last one for the Northern Kingdoms.
I like the light.
Yeah, you're gonna go with the... Okay.
I want to be beautiful.
I want to be a pretty boy. I want to be Yang clan. All right, that works for me. You're the first stream character, I think, so far to be a part of the Yang clan.
Hell yeah.
That's gonna be... Oh, no. That's very cool.
Wait, Lily is blood?
Lily is blood, yep.
So I kicked Lily out of my clan for being too ugly?
Well, you probably didn't, but
Oh, I did.
your parents did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
We look down on people like her.
Oh man, this is gonna be so good. All right, yep. So we got Changeling, we got Rogue, and we got Yang. So the last thing that we need to do is I will go over what the attributes are, so you can kind of think about those. But don't worry about placing those because those will be, because the characters will actually be finished with stats and all of that when we meet again for another session 0, so you guys can build that part all together. But I will explain to you what the attributes are. So there are 6, and I'm going to do that with the tomato method. There are 6 attributes. There is strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. All right? So now I'll explain to you what they are. Strength.
Wait, where am I supposed to be looking? Right
Here. I'll show you. Sorry, I'm just doing all this from memory. Let me do this for you. Here you go. These are the 6 attributes. Put in a Discord. There's strength, dexterity, con, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Okay.
And these numbers will govern all of your characters' like abilities and everything, right? And it's good to keep in mind of what you would like to have whatever that time comes. But don't worry about, we're not going to go too much in detail about this because we're going to do this with everyone else, but I do want to explain to you what they are so you can kind of understand what abilities that you've kind of gotten. So strength is your ability to crush a tomato. Dexterity is your ability to throw a tomato. Constitution is your ability to eat a bad tomato. Intelligence is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing that a tomato does not go into a fruit salad. And charisma is being able to sell a tomato-based fruit salad anyway. And that's what those different attributes allow you to do. I use that to kind of give people an idea of what the difference are. So you chose to be a changeling, and you are part of the Yang clan, which means that you, being a part of the Yang clan means that you have a little bit more charisma. You're more likable, affable. You can convince people to do things, you know, stuff like that. All that good stuff. And as a changeling, you receive bonuses to... let me open up that. I think I remember what it is, but... there it is. Okay, and as a changeling, you get access to your choice of intelligence, charisma, or wisdom of a +2. So you could be wise, you could be even more affable, or you can be smarter, and you're already naturally dexterous. So it seems the way that you want to go, you probably want to max out charisma. So you are going to be omnipotently handsome and be able to hurt people with how handsome you are using knives.
Using knives.
Mm-hmm. So that means because when you use the rogue weapons, your weapons are dictated by your charisma, not your dex or strength. That's the power that's the power of the Yang.
Got it.
And there you go. And that's your character so far.
Sick.
You are now caught up to everyone else.
Oh, wait, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's all we needed to do. Like I said, we still got to meet with everybody so you guys can finalize characters, so that we can choose campaigns and download all the... There's still a lot more to do, but this is what we went over without you. So now you're caught up. So now...
I may want to change the... I feel like I like everything, but like, could I keep everything and go back and change the changeling to something else?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't really know what it is yet, though.
Yeah. You can change anything.
So next time we talk, then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Think about it. You know, really give it a think. Try to think of new things, and then when we get together, we can all talk about stuff. It's no problem, man.
Perfect. Cool.
You did a great job, champion. Heck yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll arrange in the group chat of when we want to meet again for the next session 0, and yeah.
Awesome.
That'll be it. Thanks a lot for your time.
All right. Thank you, man.
No problem.
Talk to you soon.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
Later.
And that is how we clap them. We'll save fan art for whenever we meet during the session 0. Alrighty. I have meetings that I have to do offline. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead and raid Ryan.
Lily. Her family. Britarian, thank you for the sub. Lovely Leslie Curry.
Go tell him how cool he is for me.
Electro-Violina.
Shrine of Sins should be tonight at 10 p.m.
Hopefully
CST, chat room. 10
10
p.m. CST.
Yeah, I wanted to play somebody who's very like pompous and like very like, you know, You're wearing that today. I don't know what happens on these campaigns, but that's what I'm feeling. That's what you chose to wear today? No wonder. No wonder you're that way. Oh,